Hi, it's Chris Titley here, and we are live at the Sports Strategy Summit at the Convention Centre at Dricky Network time. 300 people out here having a drink. We're doing the last interview for the day. I'm joined by Natasha Coughlan. Thank you so much for coming and saying good day.
Thank you. You're doing some great interviews, I'm sure, and there's lots of interesting people here today.
Yeah, so I feel like my graph of adrenaline's going up and up as opposed to down and flat because everyone's so exciting and so informative, and I always learn something. So what am I going to learn in this podcast today?
Oh, what are you going to learn? The ins and outs of a rugby mum turned entrepreneur in the sports and athlete space.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're here and how you're connecting.
Yeah, right. So I've got multiple different businesses. Two of them are in the athlete sports space. So we've got a business called Playful Out, which is a sport journal for children under 13, which teaches them how to set goals, evaluate their performance, talk to their coach, that type of thing. So around mindset as well. And then we've also got another business called Athlete Insights, which is where we have a wellbeing program for grassroots sports, and we also work with elite athletes on performance strategy. We have a competency assessment that we put them through, which shows their strengths and their weaknesses in the competencies and how we can help them work on those.
The mindfulness and high performance is probably on a graph expedited in the last 3 or 4 years, and I probably think that's probably a result of technology and awareness and data, and I check my sleep score every day, which I didn't do 5 years ago, and things like that. But at a grassroots level, how important is it to kind of feed that down to, I suppose, the teenagers playing sport at grassroots level, where it might just go, that stuff's over your head, just get out there and play sport?
It's really important because that's where we build the foundations of not just sports skills, right? Life skills. Like how do we put them in a positive mindset? How do we teach them about their well-being, nutrition, how to look after themselves, mindfulness, all of those type of things. So it's really important because they take that through the rest of their life. So if we can get them at those grassroots levels, we can actually even keep kids more, or we can keep more kids in sport longer if they do things like that as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. What about from a team sport versus an individual sport? Do you see any differences at that level of grassroots in terms of habits or pressure, etc.?
I do. So team sports, it's usually the external that they worry about. So they might get a coach that they don't really gel with. The team might not be doing great. So it's usually the external factors that are encouraging or implementing on themselves. Whereas for individual athletes, it's usually an internal thing, right? Like it's the internal going to external, and then it flows on that way. So, yeah.
And the pathway to become a professional athlete and the bright lights and fame and fortune and money is much stronger than it's ever been as well. Is that a sort of a problem somewhat with society, that everyone, or maybe some parents or other people think, oh, actually, there's a huge opportunity here to make a lot of money, where maybe 10 years ago it wasn't the case?
Yeah, look, I probably not so. I don't think it's that. I don't think that it's that much of a worry, particularly here in Australia. Probably over in America when you're getting into those sports and there's so much money in sport, right? Like for athletes. I think that a lot of our kids now see influencers online and think how easy it is to get those followers and to earn money that way. I think that's more of a challenge, and I think too we're losing a lot of potential athletes or kids playing sport because of those reasons as well. So, I think that we have to make sure that we are doing with potential athletes or kids playing sport, like setting their goals. Like, do you really love the sport, right? Do you love going to games? Do you love to play? Is this something that you can see yourself continuing, even on just a community level? Or would you really like to, look at doing this as a profession, and why? Right? What are your values? What are all of those things? So I think that that's something that we don't really teach kids. Like, I didn't do values in school, did you?
Right. Didn't even know what those things meant. Well, broadly speaking, what mental health was at school. There's no chat, and not saying it's right or wrong, because I'm sure there's definitely issues, but it's the awareness of that. And now, speaking of awareness, and we go back to the original topic of this podcast being about a rugby mum, watching your sons play rugby, and I believe, is it twins?
Yes.
Play rugby through their teenage years. A, did you get nervous? And B, how did you react to their kind of ups and downs and support them through their journey of not winning all the time and having bad days and good days?
Yeah, so I'm really lucky because I trained in mindset. I'm a personal trainer. I am a World Rugby certified coach and a nutritionist. So I've always implemented certain things with our kids. So like goals, they used to have to sit down and organise some goals for a game, and then we would ask the right questions. Okay, what do you think you did really well? What do you think that you could improve on next time? So it was never about winning and losing. It was all about, how did you go? Did you have fun? Did you play with your mates? It was never this real, you lost kind of mentality. So with them, we've done that ever since they were playing sport. So that was one thing that I thought probably really helped. Like, they're really good kids. Like, their mindset is in check. They both of them were kickers, so they're conversion kickers, so the pressure that comes with that, and they can just shake it off. Right, like, they shake it off, they get on with the game, they just want to play footy. They just went over to America for 12 months and played over there, and now they're on an NRL pathway, but they've never been real. I've never really had to worry too much about their mindset around sport. However, did I worry? Yes, every time they got tackled. I've always told them since they were this big, I will always be the loudest person on the sideline. So being a rugby mum, it's challenging, but,
Yeah, oh, wow. Look, I haven't gone through that 13, 11, 9 here, but I've seen a few big hits on AFL and things like that, but rugby and rugby league around 18 or 19, there's some pretty fierce hits.
Yeah, some of the kids, they're very tall, so they're 6'6", but they're not big boys. They're utility backs. One's a fullback, so he's quite slender. So they're up against some big men these days.
And for the last conversation today, how would you describe the Sports Strategy Summit?
It was great. It was really good. I loved the structure of today. Like, we heard from a lot of people and a lot of opinions because we had those panels. Plus, we had a different interviewer for each panel, which was fabulous. So I think, it was the best way to get lots of opinions and lots of connections in a relatively short period, right? It was only one day.
And an amazing keynote to finish.
Yes. Wow.
The lineup for the books.
Yeah.
Lachlan Stewart over there. He's done well.
Inspirational. Hey, like, you think about mindset and wow.
That's finish. What a way to finish. I'm happy to finish on that note.
Cool.
Natasha, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And looking forward to supporting and helping where we can.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cheers.